The program in York County has been so successful, there's already talks of expanding, getting more first responders trained to fly, and adding smaller drones just like these to the back of patrol cars to be able to deploy in a matter of minutes. Anita and Tom, this is absolutely the place to be tonight. The first concert at Waterside just wrapped up a bit ago. The city says one of their big prevention efforts are these drug take-back boxes. They're available at all 4 police precincts and allow you to drop off your unused prescriptions, no questions asked. That ocean overwatch is something that they definitely are concerned about, and that wind is really coming off of the ocean. Here it is. The new walkway is now in place. All of the concrete here is brand new, along with new railings and brand new lighting. The mayor says the finished product will only help downtown Portsmouth continue to grow. There's eyes on you from the moment you walk up to the front door here at Brighton Elementary. When you go through the front door, you have to go through a metal detector. You hear the alarm there. In the last 20 minutes, we have learned that firefighters and medics rushed a 58-year-old man to the hospital after they found him unconscious inside his mobile home behind me. I do want to step out of the way. We also confirmed that a dog and bird died in this fire. You could see the extensive smoke damage right there to the front door as this ambulance passes by.
Joe Fisher is tracking the conversation over on social media, Joe.
Tom, Anita, everyone has an opinion. We all know that, and a lot of people are taking to our Facebook page, WAVY-TV 10, to sound off today on how they voted. And we actually posted a poll over on our Facebook page, and here's a look at it now. We simply asked, who are you voting for in Virginia's race for governor? And these are the results here. High winds creating just devastating damage here. You can see the heartbreak behind me. This right here is a down power pole. The wind knocked it down. It's one of 3 power poles brought to the ground as this storm came through this area of Chesapeake around 6:30 tonight. Laura and Tom, experts say addicts who seek help have a 60% shot at getting and staying clean. Now, sometimes it takes talking to someone who has lived through the same experience, the same struggles. That's where these peer recovery coaches step in to give addicts advice right after hitting rock bottom.
It's out now.
They're rushed to the hospital every day.
Everybody knows what's going on.
Addicts hooked on drugs.
And thinking about the ones we don't know about.
Drugs that almost killed them.
The hopelessness is so overwhelming.
For Charles DeLoach,
It was all about fun.
it was crack cocaine.
I turned into somebody that I didn't recognize, and my family didn't recognize me.
He's been clean 26 years, and in that time, drugs on the street have changed.
But the desperation hasn't changed, and the pain hasn't changed.
He's now taking his wisdom to the role of peer recovery coach to show addicts there's hope, there's help, there's people who care.
But I haven't forgot what it was like and where I had to come from.
More than $250,000 in federal funding is helping Virginia Beach launch the program that'll dispatch DeLoach and other coaches directly to emergency rooms after overdoses.
It could be any of us. There's no discrimination in regards to this epidemic.
326 people overdosed in the resort city last year. 72 died. Shelby Giles and Angie Hicks say the coaches will link patients with treatment and counseling services.
Because if they leave with nothing having changed in the middle, they're right back into the same situation.
Opioids killed more than 1,100 people last year statewide. Governor-elect Ralph Northam calls it one of Virginia's biggest challenges.
I will bring people to the table and make sure that we do everything that we can to offer these individuals help.
Encouraging words for those who believe additional resources will save lives.
So hopefully we can help somebody who can help somebody who can help somebody.
And this funding will also cover the cost of peer recovery programs in Portsmouth and Norfolk. In addition, Virginia Beach recently received nearly $1 million for treatment programs. And there's also money available for housing, childcare, and transportation so addicts can get to those treatment programs without any trouble. I'm Joe Fisher, 10 on your side.
And tonight we're also learning about a possible motive after police say a son opened fire on his Chesapeake family, killing his father and brother. Good evening, I'm Tom Schaff.
And I'm Anita Blanton. 20-year-old Zachary Toothman is locked up after the attack this week on Helen Avenue. Now we're hearing from his grandparents about what led up to this shooting. 10 on your side's Joe Fisher sat down with them tonight.
And Joe, they say a couple of things are sticking out on this one.
Tom and Anita, family members tell me it's become crystal clear in recent days that Zachary Toothman had some secrets. A straight-A student with a big scholarship who should have been headed back to Virginia Tech this week. So they thought, at least. But as detectives continue their investigation, family members say Zachary was never going back to school all along. Zachary Toothman graduated from Hickory High in 2014 with top honors. His smarts and musical talents, families say, is what earned him a scholarship to Virginia Tech.
He was a very studious person. He liked to be home with his mom and dad.
Not exactly the profile of a killer, but police say Sunday the 20-year-old shot and killed his brother Matthew, his father Michael, a 30-year veteran detective with Chesapeake Police, and attempted to kill his mother.
I can't imagine how the way his mom and dad and brother thought the world, how he could do this to them.
Karen Toothman says Zach seemed positive the day before the shooting. His bags were packed for his junior year, but they've since found out the university placed him on academic probation.
Zach acted as if he was on cloud nine. He was going to have a great year at Tech, and he knew he couldn't go back.
They say Zach told his parents he wasn't going back to school just hours before the shooting. Rex Toothman says he's learned from detectives his grandson likely started planning the attack in May. And while Chesapeake Police have yet to release a motive for the shooting, family members have ideas.
I think he was just ashamed and afraid to come home and tell his parents what was going on. So he just let it float by all summer long and didn't tell them.
A family now forced to move on without a grandson and their son, a man they feared would lose his life on the streets protecting others, never imagining he'd be gunned down inside his own home.
Just so senseless. Just so senseless.
And Karen and Rex Toothman say Zach never showed signs of mental illness, but they believe he needs some help right now. So far, they have not spoken to their grandson in jail, who faces 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Meanwhile, a bullet grazed Susie Toothman, Zach's mother, and tonight she's out of the hospital recovering. I'm Joe Fisher, 10 on your side.
Hi, Miss Alyssa.
It's some good news for a girl who lately hasn't received much.
Well, I'm starting to walk using my brace.
For 8 months, being a kid has taken a back seat to bone cancer.
When they first told me I had it, I thought that it wasn't curable.
Yet Relissa Sharp remains optimistic.
I smile a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm happy all the time.
And now she's just a little bit happier.
Because I get to go fast.
On a new tricycle all her own, riding the wave of good news. Doctors recently removed a tumor and replaced Relissa's knee joint. Just last week, she finished chemo treatments.
She's finally getting her energy back. When you're going through those intense treatments, it's difficult. A lot of times you don't feel like doing anything.
Relissa's parents say she first tested out a tricycle at CHKD as part of physical therapy. They're thrilled the one-time gymnast and cheerleader is back on the move.
It means that she gets to get out and do normal things. That's a big issue whenever you're a cancer patient.
The donation comes from the nonprofit Smile, who have now gifted 25 kids in Hampton Roads with adaptive devices.
Well, we kept hearing more and more stories of kids whose insurance wasn't covering therapeutic tricycles, hearing aids, alert dogs.
Kristen Mantlow's sister, Samantha Trost, died in 2009 from the same bone cancer Relissa is relentlessly fighting, osteosarcoma. The next year, they launched Smile, Samantha making life a little easier.
Knowing that we've alleviated that burden and then that item is going to turn around and make their quality of life and how they operate in their daily lives better it's fantastic.
Helping others get comfortable in a situation that's anything but.
We'll do physical therapy, get her back, doing all the normal things that she did before.
Reporting in Newport News, I'm Joe Fisher, 10 on your side.
We're trying to increase the population of oysters.
About 400,000 oysters packed into buckets and loaded up on a boat in Norfolk's Lafayette River.
They filter the water. A single adult oyster can filter water in the summer months up to 50 gallons of water a day.
You're looking at the end of a pretty long process. Staff and volunteers at the Chesapeake Bay Foundation start by collecting shells, mostly from restaurants. They clean them and then use them to harvest baby oysters.
These are tiny baby oysters. They're even smaller than my fingernail, but there's 3 there.
It's at this stage when the shells are dumped into the river. The foundation has helped to build more than 70 acres of oyster reefs. The reefs provide a place for the oysters to grow and also provide a home for fish, crabs, and other organisms.
The shell does millions and millions times better going back into the water versus sitting on a landfill doing nothing.
Since 2010, more than 60 million oysters have been dumped back into the bay. The goal to improve water quality for those who live near the water and those who use it for recreation.
Everybody wants clean water. I don't think anybody's going to say that they don't. And we all benefit from having a healthy, thriving Chesapeake Bay.
Jackie Shannon says the Lafayette River is a success story.
This holistic approach that we've gone about has ultimately led to the Lafayette River being delisted for bacteria levels, which is a huge piece of evidence that this work has been meaningful, that water quality is improving.
Now the foundation wants to replicate their success into other tributaries nearby.